Good morning, good evening, wherever you are across this nation and around the world. This is Deja Brew, waking you up to truth one drip at a time. And tonight is Thirsty Thursdays, where you soak up the knowledge. Mike, we have a really special guest today. Would
Yes,
you
we
like to?
do. Oh my gosh. So our special guest tonight, hello everybody, is Augie Nost. I'm going to attempt to describe his bio here as much as well as I can. It's quite a long bio, as you can imagine. This is a very intelligent, very popular man. He was born on a Norway farm, and he had taken over the operation of the farm, his family farm. Took over the duties at a very early age. He learned hypnosis from a magician in Europe. He's an author of numerous philosophical, thought provoking books. He's a podcast, radio host, and director, a problem solver for business solutions, a spiritual counselor, teacher. He is the host of the Mastermind Connection and private think tank group, as well as Broadcast Team Alpha. His website is www.broadcastteamalpha.com. You can find him on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and many other platforms. And without further ado, we welcome Augie Nost to our show tonight. Wow. Hello, everybody. We have a very special guest, and he is here tonight. It's Augie Nost. Welcome, Augie. Welcome to Thirsty Thursdays.
Yes.
Thank you. And I have coffee in hand and I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's right.
Yay.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Okay, freshly brewed coffee.
This is very
And
exciting.
yes, very excited to have Augie with us tonight. So primarily, we are a UFO show. We are a UFO podcast. We kind of go outside the lane here and there, but mainly, me and Kelly are UFO experiencers. And Augie, with us here tonight, I think it's a perfect mesh because in ufology, there's a certain point in time as an experiencer where you come to the fact that it's more of a cerebral thing. It's more of a cerebral experience. You've got your physical experience that you can remember. I yet need to be regressed. I have not been regressed, hypnotically regressed yet. I do plan on doing that at some time in the future. Kelly has even offered her services, and I understand Augie, man, he was a young, strapping teenager when he learned hypnosis for the first time in Norway. But I think that ufology and the think tank that Augie brings to the table really goes hand in hand, and I think we're going to have a really good show tonight with some of the questions that we have for Augie. And I'm going to go ahead and start off the first question for Augie here uh, is let's talk about time travel and missing time because I know that's something that I've experienced myself is missing time. But to think of this UFO that came from light distances away, possibly another planet, maybe from our own depths of our ocean. Who knows? I'm totally open. Um, nobody likes to know it all. I certainly don't know it all. Um, but Augie is such an interesting think tank. I really respect your ideas on a lot of the questions that I see people present to you on other shows. And I think we could start off with time travel. What do you think? What do you think about time travel, Augie?
Well, and it seems like whenever you talk to people and bring up time travel, their eyes glaze over on you and they stumble away from you and swear they will never talk to you again. That's usually what happens because if you haven't seen it, if science are telling you that, oh, there is no such thing, then it can't exist, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's for the weak-minded ones to believe. But there's so much evidence for it. And you mentioned missing time. It is kind of a misnomer because there is no missing time. Because you may not remember, but it's there.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
all you have to do, like you said, do a hypnotic regression, but do it with someone that gets you deep enough so you can get to scrape the bottom of the experience.
Yes.
Because there is your conscious mind can get in the middle of it and add things to it unless you get deep enough. So it's
Oh,
really tricky to do these things. You got to be good at it. But time travel, let me just mention a couple of things first. And one of them is that in 2003, BBC television came over to the United States to we're going to do a TV documentary on time travel. They had Michio Kaku on there. They had Green and myself. And on that show, I demonstrated a time travel device that I've had some very strange experiences with. And towards the end of the show here, I'm going to show you what it looks like and tell you how it works. So don't go anywhere. Like the old days, we used to say, don't touch the dial. Just
Right.
leave it alone. Stay right there. You're going to see something that very few people have seen.
all right. We're in
So
So,
for
excited
a
for that.
treat tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to find some of the evidence for time travel, you go ahead and go to bbctelevision.com/news /July 11, 2018. There's an article there. They're talking to scientists and they're saying, yeah, we know how to make a time travel machine, but we can't do it yet. They tell us that we're afraid of panic when we find out what's going on. And it's probably a good thing. What do you think if everybody could travel forward and backwards in time? Let's say they screwed up something in the past that is so bad that you hurt or your life from it. You go back before that and you change the event. Now, whatever happened no longer exists. Everybody that was involved in it will no longer exist. So it can really make a mess if you start messing with the time stream.
Right.
Right.
So this is probably a good thing that they are restricting it. Government is lying their face off when they're telling that you can't do stuff like that. But
Right. May I
uh,
just also ask as a second question to all of this, do you think that would explain for like deja vu type things or Mandela effects?
absolutely, I think it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also deja vu can also be that, you know, quantum mechanics show us by
Mhm.
repeatable experiments on the blackboard and in the laboratory that everything is connected. I
Right.
am connected to you guys, and I'm pretty intuitive, so I can get sometimes what people think.
Mhm.
You could get things from that also. It doesn't have to be a time travel, but an interdimensional type of thing can. There's so much that tie to that concept. It's really hard to
Right.
nail down.
Right. Like just like when Tesla got his ideas and he said they weren't his own, that he connected to the knowledge and in the collective consciousness of the universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's one more experiment thing that I want to tell you about that actually prove time travel is real. There is a few years back, there's a guy in New York. His name was Andrew Carlin. And he started with $800 playing the stock market. And then, in a matter of a couple of 3 weeks, he had grown that to $350 million.
What?
And the regulators, they start looking at that and say, wait a minute, that's not possible. He's got to have side backroom trading on here. So they came and arrested him for insiders trading, put him in jail, and he got in front of the judge, and the judge asked him, how did you make 350, I think it was $340 million out of $800 in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks? And Andrew, well, this is a little complicated, but I am a time traveler. He says, come from, it was 27 something, 27, 40 or something like that year. And he said, I read history and I went back, picked the companies that had phenomenal growth right out of the box. And he
Great.
says, I invested in them. And the judge laughed and said, yeah, yeah. So take him back to jail. He said he's going to stay here until he gives us the name of the people that told him how he
Till he
could do
tells us
this.
the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they put him back, they put $1 million bond bail on him.
Oh my gosh.
2 days later, a man came in with a suitcase with $1 million in cash, paid the bill, both left. No one has ever seen them late after that.
Oh
He left,
wow.
Wow.
let me have the $1 million, and he left. Now, most people will say, ah, sure, that's a made up story. But you know me a little bit. You know that I'm a digger. I got a
Mm-hmm.
hold of the the Raker's Island where he was kept. The records show, court records, the guy was there, and the court records are still there. That is a
Mm-hmm.
story that is true.
Right. So he did exist and he did disappear.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that case, I would too.
Yeah.
And yeah, and a lot of the times we, as an experiencer, we also wonder, is that us in the future at some point coming back to more of a barbaric time of a human status where we're at now,
Yeah,
uh, as a top of the game we think we are right now. Maybe there's still something barbaric, something very necessary that we still have, that they need in the future. And maybe they can be more careful about it. Maybe, and maybe in the future, time travel is a much more sophisticated, more of a careful operated system where they understand the Mandela effect. They
yeah.
understand the different timelines, and they also understand when something negative happens, we can't just all go back and erase the negativity, or else we would all just be tooting glitter and lollipops all day. And we know that that's not the fact. There's got to be some kind of yin yang involved. So that's what I think
Or,
when
or, or
when we're talking about time traveling. What do you think, Augie?
yeah, either that or coffee. But
Because
I think there is some control of it. If you look at the temple in Abydos, Egypt, in the on the first floor, there's this panel. It has carvings of a perfect looking Apache helicopter right on the wall. The thing is that they didn't carve things that they didn't know of or see.
right,
There was an Apache helicopter back there 2,800 years ago.
yeah, I
Explain
see
that
that.
one.
Yeah, that hieroglyph.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm sure you've seen that panel.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
very
yeah.
common.
They
Yeah.
seen it, so that's why they drew it. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. And there's even little gold figurines that they found of like helicopters and airplanes and stuff,
Yeah.
right? In
Right, that look
Egypt?
like the space
Yeah.
shuttle and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of actually manipulating time, my co-host on the broadcast team Alpha Show that we
Hmm.
do together, she is also a hypnotherapist and she does something that I never thought of it, but I haven't heard anybody else do that. And that is to take people from the present, put them under hypnosis, take them forward in time to meet themselves.
Oh,
Oh,
And then you get advice from yourself in the future. Think about that.
wow.
And no, by the time we get 3 years down the road, we have more experiences. You can ask yourself advice. How would it be possible to complete the thing I'm working on here right now? What did I do to make
wow.
it work? And then you can get the answer from the future. Yeah, this is what I did, and this is how it works to go back and you do it.
Oh, I love that. And you're right. That's very unique. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone doing that either.
Right. So that's Nori. That's Nori Love is
Yeah,
his.
Nori
Yeah.
Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very well.
Brilliant.
in fact, we did a show one time. It's on Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and our website, broadcastteamalpha.com. She hypnotized me live on the air. And oh God, a
I
lot of
bet that
goof.
was fascinating.
Oh, I see. I didn't know what happened until I heard it afterwards.
Oh,
And it's a lot of screwy things came out that I'm not going to mention here.
Well, I'm going to look that one up.
yeah.
It's about 5 years ago, down in the deep into the stream of videos.
That's okay. I'm like you. I'm a pretty deep
She's
researcher. I'll find it.
she's a digger. She's a digger too, Augie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
That
That's pretty
that
cool.
was actually pretty fun. So anyway, that time travel is real. It is
yeah.
being
Yeah.
done. There is a university professor in California that teaches it. Bruce Goldberg. He teaches
Oh,
time travel to people. So
interesting.
he is teaching it using consciousness. And that is a wild card because unless your consciousness is willing and able to accept that this is possible, then good luck with that.
Yeah. Right. Because that really is the key, isn't it? You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
fully believe in this with zero
it
doubt.
is.
Yeah.
So there is, if you condition yourself beforehand, so this feel like absolutely the real thing, and then you go through the procedures that he has set out, it just might work for you. Or you can actually, I wrote a book on spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to
Hmm.
access universal consciousness. In the back of that book, I have a whole chapter on how you can do it. Without the box, I'm going to show you a little bit.
Okay.
You can do it by consciousness. But you also
Yeah.
there have to condition your mind a little bit to be able to
Right.
visualize and feel and intend. And when you practice, that could take you a week or three to do that, but you
Hmm.
could be able to do it because I've done it. If I can do it, God, anybody can do it.
See,
Yeah.
me and Kelly are firm believers in the human beings are we are way more powerful than we're led to believe.
Hmm.
And that goes right along with what we're talking about here is, and we have a show that me and Kelly do. We call it Beyond the Veil Psychic Detectives, and that's what we preach. That is what we preach. We have to have confidence in order for any of this stuff to work. You need to let go of the right, what is it, the right side of your brain
The
thinking,
left brain.
the left. I'm sorry. See, I'm a
Hmm.
little dyslexic when it comes
Yes.
to the
See,
brain thinking.
He's left-handed, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, because this is like it's a spiritual evolution, and that doesn't just mean some kind of faith or religious beliefs. The spirituality of humanity is so much
Yeah,
bigger and
yeah,
truly connected to everything and that we are and everything around us and how we're all connected and all of that. And that's what we're trying to teach to people. That's our goal, is to show them by demonstration that everyone can do this. You don't have to be like a studied monk of a whole lifetime worth of meditation, though it does take some fine tuning and some real effort on your part to get
yeah,
there.
absolutely. And Nori and I, we put together a spiritual think tank also where we do kind of incredible things. It seems like we are creating out of seemingly nothing sometimes. Things just happens. That's about a 35-second example is that there was one member of the group. He said, my wife is in the hospital. She's got COVID and she's in a really bad way. They said tomorrow, he said, they were going to put her on the ventilator and give her remdesivir. You
Oh
know what
gosh.
that does? That do
Oh
away
yeah,
with you.
you're
So
done.
that was the next day they were going to try that because she was so bad off. We wrapped our mastermind around her, visualized her walking out of the hospital and perfectly healthy. So at the end of it all, I kind of flippantly said, "Ah, yeah, she'll be home tomorrow." I had
Mhm.
no clue. I just said it. I didn't believe or nothing. But in the late afternoon, the next day, the guy called me and he said, "My wife is home." And the most intelligent thing I could think of saying was, "Huh?" And he said the doctors told her that you recovered so fast, there was no reason for us to keep you any longer.
Right,
Wow.
That is what the mind can do when you
right.
join together
Mhm.
and create a supermind or a mastermind. Remember, the definition of the mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a
Right.
third mind that has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other.
Yes.
Wow.
And even in the Bible, it tried to tell people that
Yeah,
where more than one gathers,
that's it.
you have power. And the
Yeah,
power of prayer, this is how you explain the power of prayer and how prayer works or why prayer works. I mean, it's a magnificent thing. And I know that just on an individual basis, one person can make a difference. One person can literally resurrect another person. I know because I've done this with
yeah.
my 10-year-old child. Um, Imagine what we could really do if all of us would collectively focus our intent on, just like I'm a grid worker for the planet, right? I help protect the shields, like with the auroras that just happened in the deep south. I knew that even though this was beautiful, this was also a very dangerous thing for us. So, as a grid worker, I went into my meditative state and astrally started putting the shields up and helping to protect the planet from these solar energies. If we could all understand that we can focus on this together, we can change so many things about our world. So many
Yeah.
things. I see such beautiful potential for humanity's near future because we're finally at that point now where people can accept this. What's your thoughts on that?
I tell you, they should teach this in grade school to people.
Yes.
In fact, in Japan right now, many of the schools in Japan, they teach the kids the first year in school, they start teaching them meditation.
Mhm.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the two things that should be taught in school, that is meditation and martial arts. Martial
Agreed.
arts will teach you mind discipline.
discipline. Yeah.
Meditation will teach you what to do with it.
Right.
All
And it
together.
also teaches you the breath. Both teach you the
Yeah.
breath, which is
Hmm.
really a key. And I'm a homeschool teacher. I have 7 children and I've homeschooled all of my kids. And that is something that is applied to our daily routine is meditation and breath work. so that they can,
Uh,
hit the ground running with understanding that the breath matters so much and being able to still the mind and then focus, right? Have a disciplined mind with focus. And yeah, it would be such a game changer for us if all children were taught this way. I
Right.
100% agree.
Because
I love,
by the age of 6, you're already indoctrinated in all this, junk that they're, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Can you imagine where our children and our future would be if we were applying like Augie suggests?
Right, because we're talking about empowerment versus indoctrination.
Right.
We're
It's
giving
use it or lose
people
it. If
to
you
be
don't know you
empowered.
have it, if you don't know you have it, you're not going to really use it. They
Right.
call, they want us to think that we've got sight, sound, taste, and anything else is extra, ESP.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of cuckoo. And then you start losing people on that. Like Augie
Yeah.
said, that's the last conversation you have with that person because you went too far. You talked
Right.
about time
yeah,
travel, you talk about UFOs, you have these conversations, they're far and few in between, and half the time when you walk away, that's it. That's the last time you're going to talk to that person because it's like
Mhm.
it's almost too much.
yeah.
Right.
I know it. I love to hear that you're a homeschooler because isn't it funny? I mean, really funny that kids that is homeschooled are better students with higher grades than the professionals in the education system?
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah. My kids, 5 of them are adults now, and so they have to go take the state exams in order to get their diplomas and stuff. And they all of them scored 3.9 or 4.0 in their intellect. I mean,
Yeah,
my children are hella smart. And it's not just because I'm a great teacher and I'm intelligent, which I am, but it's because in homeschool, kids are given that freedom to learn faster if they need to, learn slower if they need to, and actually pick things that they really want to learn about so that they
Mhm.
can grow. My youngest is in 3rd grade and he knows how to do computer coding, all kinds of incredible things that are not because I know how to teach him that, but because that's something he wanted to learn. So I allowed him the resources to learn it. And he's crazy smart.
mhm,
I think my 2 youngest ones are going to be the most genius out of all 7. But yeah, it gives them such freedom to learn so much more than is
yeah,
offered in public school with the rigorous, you get 30 minutes for this and 30 minutes for that and they're
yeah,
just like trying to compact it all together and kids don't have the opportunity to really soak up the things that they love to learn about and delve into them. And also interestingly, being a homeschool teacher, I've learned the child psychology parts of it and realized that kids actually absorb more of what they learn if they learn it right before they go to sleep. So a lot of what we do is before nap time when they're little and before bed as they get older because they're dreaming about it then.
yeah,
They're going over the lesson in the dream state to learn it more thoroughly. So I think that's really cool too.
yeah. And there's so many things that could be taught in the schools. I used to
Oh
travel around
yeah.
the country, teach mind development course that showed people how to assimilate information out of a book at the rate of 50 to 100,000 words per minute with 95% retention. It is simple.
Oh
In
great.
fact, in my book about spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness, I talk about how you can do it. And it is simple. Now, I didn't say easy because there's some practice, there's some work on your part, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. And if you do
Yeah.
something like that and you go to college, you'll ace every test that you got. You fly through a book with 2 pages a second, and that'll take 5 minutes for the average book, or maybe less. And then, in fact, you turn the book over upside down. You do it again because first time through you missed a few pages. The mind don't care if it's upside down or right side. It gets it.
Mhm. Right. Right. And that's actually something that would be really great to add to homeschool curriculum, your book.
Hmm.
to help teach the children how to utilize their brains process better.
Yeah.
I love that. I really love
See,
that.
and we're in the time now where books are almost, obsolete. Like they're, the books go with libraries and drive-ins, right? It's like they're trying to take those away. And
Yeah.
newspapers, the smell of a newspaper, the sound of a newspaper. You're talking about turning the book upside down, and the mind can't tell. That's great.
Well, the thing is that the real leaders, they will always be reading books. Readers are leaders.
That's right. Yep. That's right. All of the people that are too busy in their cell phone instead of reading are the ones that'll be
Yeah.
the minority in our future.
I see some parents are giving their 3-year-old kid a cell phone so they can search the internet. That is
Yeah.
destroying the kids because your character is formed until you are 7 or 6 to 7 years old. The
Mhm.
character is set. Now, in order to change it later on, that takes a lot of work because your coding is put in
That's right.
place for it.
That's right. Yeah,
That is,
that's right. And I think it's absolutely appalling that people just hand cell phones to little kids like
yeah.
that. Absolutely appalling. I wanted to ask you also about what are your thoughts on Three Eye Atlas? Our think tank group on Sundays, Beyond the Veil, did a remote view on Three Eye Atlas, and the majority of us saw it as a very spiritual evolution for humans. What are your thoughts on what its purpose is here?
Well, first of all, I want to say that it cannot be natural. It's impossible because
Agreed.
putting out more light than it receives from the sun to be able to reflect.
Yeah,
That alone just wipes out all the average people out there saying, "Yeah, it's just a rock."
yeah.
And then uh, Michio Kaku, he did a video where he said that the biggest telescope that we have in space, more accurate that they can see galaxies in, they can see planets a million, I'm sorry, a billion light years away. You can see details like that. They put that telescope on the 3i Atlas. You see panels on it, square panels on the surface. Have you ever heard an asteroid having square panels?
Right, right. No
And
comments
also
that I know
it
of.
had it had it rotates. It had 7 lights, independent lights in one end of it. Now take that one and put it in your and smoke it, huh?
Right. Exactly.
Do it. It's an official thing that is through the planet. I mean, it's a solar system, and I think it is an observation platform.
We do too. That's what our team actually thought, is that it's here to observe us and
Yeah,
sort of check our temperature to see where we're at in
yeah,
collective consciousness and raising our vibration.
yeah. Did you notice that the planet that it came to was Mars?
Mhm.
And why did it go to Mars first? Maybe they had some old information because there was a civilization on Mars that got wiped out about a million years ago.
Right.
Maybe they had all the information and they wanted to go back to that planet, which maybe they had seeded
Mhm.
Yep.
to have a look at it first. And then they knew there were things on Earth, so now they're coming around Earth.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can
I
only,
I think
yeah,
I think you're on the right track there. Yeah. Because even like if we look back in Sumerian writings, they talk about how Earth and Mars and the moon were all three occupied by the Anunnaki.
Yes.
And, we've got the face on Mars and all kinds of pyramids and different things that they're
Pyramids, yeah.
discovering now about Mars that clearly shows that there was some type of intelligent civilization that lived there at one time. And, coincidentally enough, looks a lot like the stuff we have right here on our good old home planet of Earth.
Yeah,
So,
and if you go to broadcastteamalpha.com and go into the picture gallery and you start scrolling down, it'll take you about a week and a half if you spend hours a day, because I got 5,000 pictures on there with unbelievable
holy
things that
smokes.
should not exist, but it does. One of them is trees. There's a forest on Mars.
Right.
And the other one is kind of like there ships sitting on the surface. And one of
Yeah.
them is sitting on the kind of a ledge looking over a big valley. And there are people up there. We have pictures of it
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
flip by.
Do you remember when the Mars rover videos came in that showed something that looks a whole lot like a Bigfoot sitting on a cliff, kind of in a thinking man
Oh
pose?
yeah, yep,
And it suddenly got wiped from the internet. And I was like, look, that's where Bigfoot comes from.
yeah. What happened to that guy? But
Yeah.
another thing, we Nori and I did another documentary on Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, and that is 5 years down into the stream, the Mars pictures, and also one for the Moon pictures. The first picture on the Mars pictures on the documentary is a gray standing 20 foot away from the rover, and it's perfectly clear. You can see it.
Oh, wow.
That slips by the censorship at NASA. And
Mhm.
you can see there's gradients and everything. It's just like it would come back from Mars. So yeah,
Oh, that's
it's there.
fascinating. I'm
And
definitely going to comb through some of your pictures to like slip into the show.
yeah, there you can do.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
And when we talked about time travel, there's so many other things in that book, Spiritual Science. Go to Amazon and put my name in there, and the book and the other things will come up. And then you can just look at the subjects listed that I write about. You can look at that because there are things in there that will change your life. I get the emails about every week from people saying, "Yeah, thank you. It changed my life with it."
Isn't that amazing?
You know?
That's what this is all about, right? About
Yeah,
really being able to touch people's lives and make a difference in helping everyone to obtain this freedom that
yeah,
we were taught we didn't even have to gain. There's so many people in this world that didn't even realize they weren't free.
that's
Right.
right.
And
The freedom is something that nobody has ever experienced.
Right.
so before we get back into our time travel, because I know Augie's got us a little treat for us
Oh, yeah.
with the time travel, I want to ask Augie, um, as a back to the UFOs again, as a UFO experiencer, um, I realized that I didn't really I wasn't comfortable with calling them gifts, and I'm not comfortable with thinking I'm special just because I'm a UFO experiencer, just because I was abducted. It took me uh, a majority of my life to actually be brave enough to call it what it was. I think there's such a misconception with being abducted. A lot of people think that you're in a tractor beam, you're getting, oh my God, I'm being sucked up into the light, into the craft. And I know from personal experience that it doesn't always happen that way. There's always something in there that in my case it was a vortex in the clouds that caught my attention, and then I blacked out and I was displaced about a half a block further down the road. Now I'm standing directly beneath a UFO, but a lot of people think that I'm special, and I have a hard time accepting that because I think, and so does Kelly, that we're born with a lot of these natural abilities. I found myself when I was in the U.S. Navy when I turned 21. I was stationed in Pearl Harbor, Oahu. And I remember laying in my bed on the ship one day, and I started going places, Augie. And at the time, I didn't know what the word remote viewing was. And to this day, I could have very well been astral projecting myself, but I don't know what it was. But I could tell you that I was using my pineal gland, Augie, and I kept doing it. I kept testing myself, and I kept going to these random places. And without going into all the detail of the places that I went to, because that's not really important here. What's important is I feel like we're all born with the ability to do this, but I think maybe just because I had that UFO experience, that it may have rekindled some of that ability in me. uh, Maybe it's something they did to me in order for me to be with them. I don't know, but I feel like we all have the power to remote view and astral project, and I know that's one of your fortes. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I want to ask you,
Sure.
did you ever get the chance to ask your parents, did they have an abduction?
So
That's usually how it works.
yeah,
They,
it's
they follow bloodlines because of the DNA.
Yeah.
right. So my father denied it, um, and my mother, uh, she had an experience with Jesus Christ. And at the time when I asked her, I was looking for specific UFO experiences. I wasn't looking for religious, Jesus experiences. But now I know that I believe anyway that they go hand in hand,
They do.
because I've had angelic experiences as well. I've had experiences with the Ophanim, which is the third highest ranking angel in the angel hierarchy. This was all soon after my UFO experience. That I was 12 years old and I'm having visions of the wheel within the wheel. So I know that there's a spiritual, you know, uh, there's a spiritual thing here, and it's tough to mix ufology, aliens, spirituality, and religion. A lot of people don't appreciate that, but for some reason, that's what's on my plate this time around, Augie. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm here. That I have a message, and I believe they're all one and the same. Um, yeah, but I
Yeah.
did. My mom had the an experience with Jesus, and I do believe that is an experience. I
Yeah,
do.
but I tell you though, I'll tell you, if everybody ever had an experience with Jesus, that'd make him a really busy guy. I don't think it necessarily was him. That could be a light being that would look exactly like him because that's the experience I had. He looked like somebody that could be Jesus, but when I asked him,
Right.
yeah, so I asked him,
Right. Oh,
what's your,
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I asked him, what's your name? And he said, we do not use names.
Yeah. Yeah. But our brain is going to like use its
Oh,
logical
yeah,
side and rational thinking
Mhm.
and come up with something that would match to its
yeah,
Right,
best ability what it is that we're seeing. So
like a
people would say
screen.
Jesus or Mother Mary or whatever because
yeah,
that's what we would compare it to.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
think
we're
the
all
same with near death experiences.
indoctrinated with dogma.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same goes for the near death experiences too, because as a child, when I was young, 11 or 12, I had a near death experience, but I didn't have the religious dogmas that most people would have. So when the people at the end of the tunnel of light came to me, they looked like light beings. They didn't look like any
Yeah.
type of imagery, like a Jesus or whatever
Hmm.
for me. Whereas other people see Jesus or they see Buddha or they see Muhammad or, whoever, right? Because we're just using our own understanding of the connection there.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the screen memory effect that the aliens or the beings use on us, especially as children.
Yeah.
I've experienced that myself as well. I mean, I've had them appear to me as a 1950s waitress standing on the end of my bed. I woke up in the middle of the night and it wasn't a dream. I was lucid, I was awake, and there's a 1950s waitress approaching me. And it took me years to realize, Michael, you blacked out that night too. And that's what I realized. Oh my God, they've taken me at a younger age than I thought. They've taken me at 10 years old. They've taken me at 12 years old. And
Right.
I've just chalked it up at the time as, oh, this must be a ghost. This must be a residual energy that I'm witnessing.
Yeah.
Um, but I believe in screen memories. I believe that they can appear to us in any which way they want in order to get the job done.
Yeah. I think you need to have a hypnosis session.
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, he does.
And it's gonna happen, Captain. But
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
Augie got for us with this time travel thing? I'm excited for this.
Okay. Well, we could have a look at it. Let me first.
Actually, before we do that, I wanted to kind of circle back to the bloodlines for a moment, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
because this is something that happens in bloodlines. And a lot of people think that that's more of a blood type than a bloodline.
Yeah.
And personally, from my own research, I have found that when people want to go to the O blood type and say that it's majority O blood type people that get abducted, I disagree with that. Personally, I'm not an O, and I've had a lifetime of experiences with abduction that I can remember from very young ages. But I also have noticed in my research that the O blood type was actually, it used to be a very rare blood type, and now it's like the more prominent blood type of the entire population of the globe. So, in my
Really?
opinion, yeah. And they do know now that O is something that was derived from the bits and pieces of A and B that were the better parts of the package, if you will.
Mm.
So if there are more people being abducted that have O blood type, my thought on that would be that that's because they're the ones that that are actually checking on the tweaking of the DNA of humans to make us a better human, a more resilient, healthy human. And this evidence that there's actually more O blood types in the world now today than there used to be sort of lends credence to that. But bloodlines, I think, are a very important key to this whole thing and how it goes through the families and then understanding like the historical connections if we go back in time and people that are connected to the people of Greece or the people of Ireland or even all the way back to Atlantis or Mu. Like, I think this bloodline is a reincarnation process as well as this lifetime that we're in now. So I would like to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think this bloodline lineage of abduction, I think, is pretty much always there. But it's not so much the blood that is important to them, it is the genetic markers that they have that they are looking for specifically. Because they're coming here, the grays are kind of on the backside of the evolutionary curve, and they are trying to infuse themselves with some of our DNA to stop the decline of the development of their body.
Right.
So,
Right. There's actually more than one reason for bloodlines.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they're looking for genetics.
Yeah.
And of course, they've been abducted people for probably a long time. President Eisenhower, he gave them the permission to do so. So
Right.
that's the Grenada
Right.
Treaty.
Yeah, and that also goes hand in hand with abduction, that there's multiple factions that are abducting people and there's multiple reasons for those abductions. And I agree with you that the Greys are looking for something in our genetic package to prevent their own demise because
Yeah,
they're androgynous at this point where they don't have male and female anymore. They were growing their babies in a petri dish and they've lost their way, so to speak,
yeah,
in their evolutionary capabilities to continue to exist. So they've kind of come back to gather some of our
yeah.
package, if you will.
It's a lot better when you have men and women or male and female. Think about it. Men are got to be good for something. Somebody has to take the trash
Oh,
out,
right.
right? So,
I mean, exactly. But I think that's actually in the conspiratorial sense of thinking. That's why they were trying to gear us toward this whole transgender, transhumanism type of thing
yeah,
too. And we would have ended up on the same road
Right.
as our alien, gray.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we very well can if Bill Gates gets his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Breeding out the yin and yang, the
Right,
masculinity, feminism. Yeah.
right.
Demasculization of America, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and they already crippled femininity with the
Yeah.
whole women's movement and stuff. And that's like a literally a whole nother topic that I could get on my soapbox about
yeah,
because women's rights and all of that stuff is it went way south from where it should have been. Way
yeah,
south. But they stripped women of being feminine first and now they're trying to take the masculinity away from the men. And once they succeed in that, then we're no better off in our future than the grays. We're going to end up a bunch of androgynous, screwed up people too.
yeah.
But I feel like there's also other aliens who are following these bloodlines for different purposes and different reasons. Like from my own experience, for example, with my Pleiadian family, I know that when they come and they see me, you can call it abducting or taking you, but it's a different type of taking, right? You're not getting experimented on. You're being taught how to enhance your psychic abilities and use telekinesis and heal things and manifest and create and grow stuff. So they're more invested and interested in seeing, and even this goes into the starseed story, right? The volunteers that are here to help the Great Awakening and the evolution of collective consciousness. So those two are interested in bloodlines because there are specific families or bloodlines, if you will, that are more connected to that natural ability to connect with
Right.
our psychic powers, our
Mhm.
psychic ability.
Some of those aliens, the extraterrestrials that come here, some of them are all natural, like many of the Pleiadians are, but there are also some of them that use electronic enhancement. They
Hmm.
have a piece of equipment with them that is a little box about that big around that they carry on their belt. With that, they can read other people's mind, or not read so much, but they can understand other people's mind, as well as they flip a little switch on it and they set up a huge magnetic field around them so they disappear.
Right.
And there's stories of people that have seen that, have done that. Jerry Wills is one of them. He explained to me he was in South America and he met a guy that was from the Pleiades, and he had a communication with him, and he said the guy from the Pleiades said, "Well, I'll see you down at the bottom," and he reached and flipped the switch, and poof, he was gone.
Hmm.
And then
Right.
he got down to the bottom in the matter of seconds. There was something a little over a mile away on top of a mountain.
See, that
So
made
Right. Like
that
teleportation capabilities.
yeah,
see that
Yeah.
made me think of the bag. What's in the bag? You know, the ancient Sumerian
The little
uh
the little purse bag.
the
Yeah.
little
yeah,
yeah, that's what I couldn't help but to think of that when he was describing
Yeah.
the little box that they carried around.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I do think that also that there's many different types of technologies that different aliens have because like the reptilians have the ability to appear to be human, right, to our
Yeah,
mind. And
Right.
yeah,
that's really just a mind to mind transfer
Yeah.
imagery that's happening. That it's not like they're really walking around in a human skin suit,
no,
you know. They just appear if you can't get through their vibration. And
Their
they
eyes
are
will give it away sometimes, like they did with
yeah,
me
if they're
one day.
agitated, yeah, if they're agitated, they don't hold the image well.
Oh.
So if they get flustered or agitated, then the programming of this hologram or whatever you want to call it
Oh, wow.
sort of has spots or
Mhm.
flickers in it to where you can see.
Mhm.
Um, and they're super powerful psychically, the reptilians.
Yeah.
But like with the teleportation devices, I also feel like at some point in our human future that we'll be able to do teleportation from thought. Like we're going to understand that our thought is faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, and that's called jumping, and
Yeah,
it's a real concept.
it is. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like I know it firsthand. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for humanity's future when everybody sort of gets a handle on that. And I also wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on when people do talk about the Great Awakening and they use words like ascension or 5D? How would you simplify that for people?
Well, there's several types of ascension. One of them is dying. You ascend to a higher vibrational existence, in a
Right.
spiritual existence. And about probably 2 months ago now, Nori and I, we interviewed a guy a Catholic priest that went to India and Tibet to verify the rumors that the Catholic Church have heard that people are actually ascending and taking the physical body with them. It
Hmm.
took him almost a year to get to the right monastery where they showed him. And yes, they are doing it. And one of them is that they sit in meditation for a while and then they get really bright, and this bright light around them gets so bright that they disappear in it. When the light subside, there is nothing there.
Wow.
If you can go down there and watch that video, it's really interesting. And
Yeah.
then ascension, that could be also going from four-dimensional existence, which we are.
Hmm.
People say that we're three-dimensional beings. No, we're
Hmm.
not.
No, we're not.
Three dimensions are length, width, and height. Now you got a box.
Yep.
Nothing happens in that box until you add the fourth dimension, which is time.
Right.
So you got to go from the fourth to the fifth dimensional or sixth. Now you are going in to the fifth dimensional. There will be an acceleration of consciousness, which we would call the ascension. And we will know that when that have happened, all we have to do is think about something and it happens.
Right.
That tells you we are no longer in 4D, but it looks the same.
Right.
Nothing
That's
changed.
that
Yeah,
see, that's beautiful. And I knew that you would be able to put this in a way that people can understand it. Because there's so many people in the spiritual circles that are so confused by these words and this language. And it's
yeah,
really so much simpler than they think.
yeah.
So much simpler.
It is.
And
Nature is always simple.
and
Yes.
I
It,
I go
you,
back to Einstein once again. I love quoting Einstein, but he did say at some point if we used enough percentage of our brain that we would become light. That's what I couldn't help but to think of that when Augie was
that's right.
describing.
Yeah, speaking
Right.
of him, actually, he also said about a year before he died, he said in an interview, he said, I have studied the universe more than most, and I have found that it is all made from the vibration of love.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this one for the atheists out there, take that one and put it in your pipe and do the same thing.
Right. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah. I think that's also our key to manifesting. True manifesting
Yeah, right.
has to come from a true desire to better something, not
Yeah,
ego type desires, but a true want for something to be better, to be
yeah.
improved. Yeah.
I want to talk to the atheists again, and that is that when you drop the body, you're going to be one surprised dude
Right.
Yeah,
because you're going to look around and say, now what do I do? You
yeah,
have no clue. have no spiritual knowledge. There's
Yeah.
a safety valve in the universe. You can find your way because you don't know where to go. Think of someone that is already past because there is a spiritual telephone. Use the telephone. Think of somebody, let's say your mom died 4 years earlier or something like that, and think of her standing in front of you. Speak to her and say, Mom, come and get me. That is mind to mind communication in a level of existence that is beyond electronic communication. She most likely will get the message and she can come and bring you somewhere where you can get re educated.
Help you find the light.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You see it happen a lot. A lot of spirits get trapped in a house or a certain place, and there's other spirits that are controlling them. You hear about it all the time. There's always a dominant spirit that seems to be the boss.
Oh, yeah.
And like we did in our group on Beyond the Veil, we've helped people enter the light just by
Yeah.
simply talking to them, like Augie was describing. And I know you're thinking the same thing, Kelly.
Yeah, I was actually. And that he used, the whole pick up the phone and call him because I had actually used that analogy when I was explaining to people how you can, just listening to your intuition more, that voice that's in your head, it's like hearing the phone ring and picking up the phone
Yeah,
and listening to who's on the other end of it, right? It's how
right.
good are we at being a listener to our natural abilities. And I used
Hmm.
the phone analogy with that. So I loved that he brought that up
Yeah.
too. Yeah. And I knew that you would have a really great way to explain in layman's terms to people what ascension truly is. And it's more than one thing. And I love that you also touched on that and the 5D perspective too, because so many people don't understand, they think that they're leaving their body to go to 5D, right? Like we're all just going to vanish from Earth when we ascend and we're going to 5D and we're just going to be ethereal light beings and that's it. That's the gist of it.
We're
And that's
tuning in. Yeah, we're tuning in.
yeah,
Heaven on
and
earth is just a matter of tuning in, I believe.
yeah, I feel like they don't understand that this ascension, much like the atheists, they're not gonna get it. And when it starts happening, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, how come I'm still here? Why do I still have this physical body?"
Yeah, they're a
Because they're
follower, instantly follower.
because they're being misled. Yeah,
Yeah.
into what
I
that
think,
actually
Well, they
is.
were misled up until that point, and now they're looking to be a follower once again, like someone that's
Right.
got it figured out, either a loved one, like Augie said, or someone else, comes in and helps them find light. More 9 times out of 10 is what they describe.
yeah.
That's
And I
their death.
think also that what happens afterward is to a great extent, depending on what you have in your mind, what you believe and accept. So think ahead a little bit. Because the rumor on the street is that we all are supposed to experience that someday. I don't know, we shouldn't listen to rumors, but it is there.
Right.
So, so take that with a grain of salt if you like, but be prepared if it happens. And that it means no, we are living in a mind-created universe.
Right.
We know that. The
Right.
the um, the double slit experiment and the
Yes.
Helmut Schmidt
Mhm.
experiment proved that to us. Helmut
Yeah.
Schmidt, he did an experiment where he went back and altered the past. Everybody says that's impossible. No, he did.
Yeah.
And it was scientific experiment he did several times in a row and it worked. So yeah, we are a mind. And in fact, James Gate, the physicist, he says that if we look deep in the equations, that explains the fabric of space. We find computer language.
Yeah.
We didn't put it there, but it shows up.
Yeah.
So if the fabric of space, which we are part of, is
Mhm.
made up of computer code. That means that we are living in a mind created holographic projection and illusion.
Right.
We control the illusion because of our mind.
Right. And when people figure that out, that's how they learn to get out of the matrix, right?
There you go.
Because thinking that we're trapped in a matrix is really just a thought.
Hmm.
That's a block. That's a limitation on your own ability to be a co creator because we
Yeah,
create everything we see around us. We're the
yeah.
ones doing it.
And then again, people say, I don't want to get out of the matrix. I want to have a place to live and I want to make money. No, you don't have to leave everything behind,
Right.
but it is available to you. There are people that have done this. They do not depend on the matrix anymore. They can
Hmm.
go back and interact and do things, but they can also leave.
Yeah, they're not operating. They're no longer operating from the Matrix.
There you go.
Yep.
Right.
Just
Because
like those.
they're living off grid, if you
Yeah,
will.
I'm not able to do that. I've had glimpses of it,
Yeah.
but it's still a little bit beyond my pay grade, so to speak.
Right. But I think that's the beauty of understanding that we are co-creators with our thought processes too. We don't have to all go live in nature and be off grid if that's not what we choose to
Yeah.
do. We can just create societies where things are more fair without turning us into socialists or communists, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
where we can all live with the grid and in harmony with the grid.
Yes, yes, we can. And
Yeah.
there's going to be a place like that.
Yes, I think so too. I think in our very near future, we're going to be seeing more communities coming together and creating such type of
Yeah,
societies. And I'm really excited about that because while I would love to have an outdoor shower, I also want my indoor hot water.
yeah,
I like my plumbing. I like my electricity, I
yeah.
want to keep those things.
Obvious, an outdoor shower. Obviously, you don't live in Canada.
No. I live in Indiana.
Yeah, there you are. That's bad enough. I spent almost 2 years in Indiana. It gets pretty cold there.
Yes, it does. But if things go the way I think they're going to go with the whole sun
Yeah,
changing and the earth changes and stuff like that, I'm going to have oceanfront property and be subtropical within the next 10 or 20 years. So
yeah, yep,
it'll be all right. All right. So let's get to that little treat that you teased us with at the beginning of the show.
yeah. And I want to preface that with a little bit of
Okay.
I'm going to create a floor of understanding. Otherwise, you're going to look at this and say, huh? But this is a machine that was made by Stephen Gibbs some 30 years ago. He has passed on now, so there are no more of these machines being made. He actually black boxed it. So if you take it apart, it will break. So he did that because he didn't want people to take it and get in and manufacture something different so it could be used for the wrong purpose because
Okay.
it can. It also works as a radionic computer. You can put, let's say, somebody's blood sample in the well, tune it to a frequency, a healing frequency, let's say for 432 or something like that. And that will transmit the blood sample frequency through 432 to the person, and it can facilitate a form of healing for that person.
Oh, I love that.
Just like a radionic computer. I used to have a radionic computer, a Mark 12, that was made by Copen Labs over in England, and we did some really interesting things with that. But This machine is, it's not a toy. There are people that have been using it and they are missing. Never,
Uh-oh.
never saw them again.
Well, that's
The
not good.
one story of that is that there was a young guy, about probably in his last year of college. I don't know, maybe 20 or so, and he bought one of the machines, and he got it up into his bedroom. I was living at his parents' place. It his bedroom, and in the evening, his mom came up and called him down for dinner. Well, he wasn't there, so she said, all right, he took off. He went to see some friends. And then about in the middle of the night, he still hadn't come home, so she figured, oh yeah, he's out doing what guys do, and he's just staying over. Next day, he didn't show up. This was before cell phones, so she couldn't call him. She didn't know where he was. And she turned in later in the next day, she turned in a missing persons report. The police came out, they got all the information, and the police saw the box laying in the middle of the bed, the magnet, the electromagnet next to it, and the time coil that goes around your head, I'm going to show you that in a moment, was laying in the bed, and the kid was still missing. He never showed up anywhere after that. And he said, I asked Stephen, I had dinner with him time, and I asked him, did he ever show up later? And he said that, not that he know, he said, because about a year after that this happened, he talked to the mom and he was still missing. So my theory on that is that he probably went somewhere and didn't know how to come back.
Right. Definitely not a toy.
Yeah, so it's not a toy, but I will. I'm going to show you the box. I hope it'll work on the Zoom here. This is just a control box, and there you go. That's just a control box. This is the well I was talking about. You put somebody's hair sample or blood sample in it, and then you oh, it's backwards for me. You tune it to the frequency that you want to send to someone,
Okay.
and you turn it on, and off you go. So this is a stick plate. To tune it, you can turn the knob a little bit and you move the finger over the stick plate. If the finger slides, turn a little more, use the stick plate, turn a little more until you find the place where the finger sticks. That's where you want to leave the knob. Don't touch it. And then you do that until you got it locked in for that frequency and that person. And this box will work.
See, Augie disappeared. It worked. No,
Yeah,
just
there
kidding.
you go. Oh, chocolate. All right. Uh, this this is an electromagnet. It's very heavy, neodymium magnet, and it sets up a huge magnetic field around you when you plug it in. And you
Okay.
hold this one towards the solar plexus. Now, some people say that you can also hold it at your third eye, but uh, Stephen recommended to use the solar plexus because I don't remember exactly what he said why that was better, but that's what he recommended. And you hold it and then you go into a meditative state. But let me show you something else also. Okay, I'm gonna have to go away again. Here we go.
You disappeared again.
I put this around your head so
Okay.
that it's called the time coil. You put it around your head, and that is also plugged into the black box. So when you do that, you you are engaging some part of the brain, and there is a manual that comes with it. Yeah, there we go. That he put together. That explains a lot about it. I haven't read that manual for 30 years, but
Okay.
it is something that when you create that bioelectromagnetic field around you, it raises because, oh, let me back up. The magnet is tuned to a specific Gauss value that has an interaction with the time chip in the, it resonates with something, the antenna that works hooked up to the time chip inside the black box, because magnetic, that will penetrate everything. So when they do that, you activate something in the brain as well as you are surrounding yourself with a bioelectromagnetic field, and this raises your frequency to the point where you are probably at the upper end or maybe even out of this fourth dimensional existence. So now your mind can direct you going forward or backwards. I have done that. So that's how I took the pictures that I did. If you go to broadcastteamalpha.com, go into the picture gallery and go to page 15. I think it's 15 or 17. I think it's 15. And in the middle of the page, there's two pictures next to each other. Those are two pictures, totally different from each other, taken of the same location, but they are different, taken at the same time.
So you
Oh,
mean like it showed almost like a parallel reality?
That's right. It was
Okay.
both. What I did, I this is probably a good explanation. Um, I was sitting and watching the computer, watching a video feed from a place in Europe, from my hometown,
Hmm.
and I took a screenshot. And that, and later on, I got the idea, what if I try to go back and see if I can match the time? So I tried to do that, but I missed it by 1 minute and 4 seconds. I got close, and
Well,
then
that's I think that's pretty
I
good.
took another screenshot, but it was different. In the second screenshot, I had leaves on the trees. First one didn't have any leaves on the trees. Second one had been rain because the roads were really wet. You can see the reflection of light in the roads.
Hmm.
First one had no rain, only 1 minute and 4 seconds
Fascinating.
apart. So, and, and this is for the naysayers out there. I got to give you something and say that, oh yeah, he just made it up. He fixed up the pictures. If anybody knows something about me, I know just as much about computers as the village idiot would. Maybe a little
Right.
better, but that's about it. So there's no chance of me doing something like that. But anyway, the time is this pretty much the same. You can read the text that goes with those pictures and you will understand. That was the Reader's Digest version of the explanation.
Fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
So it
So
is.
what are the many different applications you can use for that device?
Well, um, I have gone forward as well as backwards. And that's one of the reasons I am not concerned about the future at all. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Though we have a rocky road getting there.
Yeah.
There may be a time when there is 2 to 3 months where nothing works. So prepare for it if it happens. On our mastermind that Nori and I are doing with a whole bunch of other tremendous minds, we have been programming for good, smooth sailing into the future. So we may be able to bypass what I saw.
Right. And I too was shown downloads or visions of a possible future where that scenario happens. And as a grid worker and a light worker, have been working toward the same goals to avoid that because there are a lot of people that are in inner cities and suburbs that without electricity, they would be the first ones to suffer the most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. Now, I don't know if I should even say this, but if it could save one life, I'm going to say it. I saw something else, and that was two big rocks. Okay, rocks sound better than asteroid, doesn't it?
sure.
Come out of the sky and hit the, I believe, was the Atlantic Ocean, and it washed the east coast of the United States and Florida off the map.
Mm,
Now, later, I have been programming for this smooth sailing again, so I think we may be able to move ourselves into a different timeline where that did not happen. So if you live in
right.
Florida or on the coast, that is one place I would not live.
Agreed. Along the northeast coast, all the
Yeah,
way down to Florida. I would 100% agree. And it's interesting that you were shown this scenario with that particular location because I was shown an entire different scenario, but also with that being the most damage across the United States, that it would happen on the East Coast and from the Northeast all the way down to the Southeast of the coast. Um, so, and I actually, when you were talking, was wondering, is it not inevitable that on some level that this does happen anyway? Because regardless of the scenario and regardless of the efforts that we put forth to alter the future, that in some way or another that some of this still happens. Because even Edgar Casey foresaw the East Coast flooding all along North Carolina and up to all the way up to New York and
yeah,
beyond. And I was shown the same thing. I was actually shown that the New Madrid would create a huge rift in the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to where the Gulf of Mexico actually spills into it um, if it got bad enough. And so my focus has been on lessening those effects. But similar to, you know, changing time, right? Altering time by going into the past or into the future, and we still have those residual things, perhaps we would still have those residual things. So it's a good idea for everyone to be prepared on some level or another for any hiccups because I think we're all angling for the same goal, right? That we want to prevent as much damage to humanity and the planet as possible.
yeah,
But there's no guarantees that some of that residual effect wouldn't still be there. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah. And now you went down the road that I have never talked about on the air, and that is the central United States. Some of it will be underwater.
Yeah. See, I don't talk about that either until
No,
tonight, but I felt called to bring it up.
Yeah, there's bad enough talking about the East Coast, but the
Yes.
thing is that since I saw it and since you saw it, it will happen. Maybe not in our timeline, because in a mind created universe, if you think of something, you automatically create it, place it into the field, and it is there forever.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you've seen it, it did happen. And we're working on making sure that it happen in another timeline that will not affect us. Because
Right.
there's a
I like that.
myriad of timelines going into the future.
Oh, yes. That was actually something else that I was shown is that we're funneling down through multiple scenarios, multiple odds of probability and timelines to one timeline.
Yep,
And I feel like that's much like what the Hopi talk about, where we'll have the two roads, right? I think it'll get down to two timelines where we can either be on that same old path or we can take a higher road and do things a new way and have a better outcome.
you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here on the West Coast, and I've heard it since the beginning that California's going to
Years,
slip into the ocean. You know,
decades, people have been saying that.
so this is
California's going to be in the drink, and
tonight's the
nobody's
first.
even focusing on the East.
Tonight's actually the first time I've heard that from you and Augie. I didn't know that. You never told me anything about the Central America. I mean, I've heard of the
Yeah.
Mississippi and and all that,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
raised over here thinking that Nevada's going to be beachfront property at some point,
Well, the
Yeah.
thing about California is part of it has been underwater in the past.
That's right.
Mhm. Yeah, because
Some of the
California was
old
actually
maps,
an island.
right. A lot
Yeah.
of the old maps, which I look at, in a higher volume, to me, anything older, I look at with more respect than something newer, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've seen that map too. So it's very interesting.
Well,
Yeah. And there's a very good reason for not ever discussing all of what I've been shown in my visions because like Augie says, once you put that
Put it
seed of
out
thought
there.
out
Yeah,
there,
right.
then it can create that event because of fear. And if people don't have the discipline to not be in a fearful mind, but in their power, then knowing those things can really alter our future
yeah.
timeline. So you have to be very careful with discussing those type of things. I agree.
Yeah. And I would say this is something that you will better, get a better understanding if you get the book Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness, because I explain how you can actually create your future before you have to live it. And I've done that, and that's why I've been able to do so many exciting things. Because
Yeah.
I set on something, I create it in my mind, place it in the future at a time coded event. And then I go back and forth and visit it every day, and I get drawn up that timeline to it.
Yeah,
And when the time comes, the time coded event happens, bingo, you walk into it and it's
Yeah.
yours. So
Yeah.
this is something that go to Amazon, you find my name, and you read what's in it. And that's why I get emails all the time, really good ones, saying they changed their life.
wow.
Yeah, I highly recommend everyone going by all of Augie's books. They are all thought provoking and philosophical and can help us all to have a better outcome in our futures.
Yeah,
And when you were describing that, I was thinking of like a vision board that's more in your mind than in your house and on a
yeah,
board, like a vision board in your mind.
yeah. But vision boards are phenomenally, they are good. They are
They are. Yeah.
effective. They work. But
I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. He visits it every day. I love
yeah,
Yeah.
that.
you got to work it though. Don't just create one, put it on the wall, and forget about it. No,
Yeah,
Right.
stand in front of it and look at it. See every picture. Feel yourself with it.
Feel it.
See
Yep.
yourself doing what it says on there, or driving the car that you got up there, living in the house that you want up there. Do it
Yep.
every day for at least 5 minutes. 10 minutes, however much, but do it every day. When you
Yeah.
do that, you cannot fail.
Mm,
You're drawn up that timeline to it.
And feeling is really the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to feel it.
Mhm.
You got to feel it like it's already there.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
already happened.
That's
Yeah.
why they say fake it until you make it.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But that is the key to manifesting. You
Yeah.
have to feel it like it's
Yeah.
already yours. That's how I
Yeah.
manifested this house.
Yeah. Same here. I'm living in a cottage in the woods, not because I can afford it,
Right.
because I
Yeah.
manifested it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I
Man,
love
that
it.
is
And
something I love it.
Another thing that I write about in that book, I'm going to mention it because I think there are some people out there that need to hear it, and that is that in 2009, three doctors were given the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process, and nobody told us. That
hmm,
is reversing the aging process, that is de-aging. I I'm doing that. I've been doing it. I'm gonna be 80 here, according to the rumor on the street.
what?
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be 80 in a few months. So
Are you serious?
yeah,
I am I am blown away. I
Yeah.
would have never I would have never
but
guessed.
but the
Yeah.
thing is that I work at it. I
Yeah.
work my mind. I don't do my well, yeah, I take supplements and stuff, but my mind don't work like a lot of people because
Mhm.
I work it. And that's what make it do what a lot of people will not be able to do because they don't do it. And in the book, I explain how to do this. And the name of this enzyme is called telomerase or telomerase, however way you,
Telomeres.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what it does is that it prevents the telomeres at the end of the chromosome inside of every cell of your body, prevent them from getting shorter.
Mhm.
Because science figured out what causes aging and death.
Okay.
It is the shortening of the telomeres all the way down to the point where there is nothing left. So the end of
Yep.
the chromosome start fraying and the cell will no longer be able to replicate itself. You get stuck
Mhm.
with old cells in the body, you get wrinkled, you get old, you die. In
Yep.
the in the Nobel papers, one of the doctors made the comment, if people had enough of this enzyme in the body, there would be no reason for anyone to ever die from old age. Now that's powerful. And
That's a powerful statement.
I know
Dangerous
enough
too.
about the
Yeah.
Nobel Committee, how they work. When you submit papers to them, if they find anything in those papers that they do not agree with, the whole thing is thrown
Yeah.
out.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah. They're real sticklers.
don't take my word for it. Go to the Nobel Committee's website. Scroll down to 2009, scroll down again to medical submissions and read the papers. You're going to love it. Now, it's quite voluminous, so take your time. And a lot
Yeah.
of the technical stuff in there maybe be over your pay grade. It sure was for me. But the statements are phenomenal. The science is good. It
Yeah.
will. It's not a may, it will keep the telomeres from shortening if you do what I'm doing and I explain in that book.
Awesome. I love that. So you're not saying that you're taking the enzyme that they discovered. You're doing
No, no,
something through your
no.
thought processes.
There is a way you can get your hands on
Yeah.
that enzyme, and there is a pharmaceutical that say that they have it. But I have studied that, and some say, yeah, it worked great for me. Others, or
Mhm.
most people say, sure, didn't do a thing for me. But I do it
Mhm.
the cheap way. You know, I'm cheap. So,
Yeah. I
so
think anything that's inexpensive is a great
yeah,
thing.
because
Oh my.
because the body makes this enzyme on its own. And I'm
Yeah.
doing the same thing that the guy, Li Xingyuan, he died from an accident at 256 years old, and the government verified his age.
Oh, wow. Incredible. So
Yep,
this is actually like the secret to how people lived 8, 900 years or 1,000 years in biblical days, right? Because they understood that this enzyme was something that was necessary
it
to
can
prevent
be.
the shortening of the telomeres. Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, it can
Um,
be.
yeah. I feel like your thought process also goes a long way with
Yes.
aging. And it's like, how do you feel about age? How do you feel about that number? How do you feel about what you put in your body? Like, thought really matters, and that emotion behind it. And
Yeah.
if you feel good about what you're doing and who you are, then that number is just a number.
Right. That's our language too. We're casting spells on each other all the time. How
Right.
old are you?
Right.
Yeah, the happy birthday, it's a ritual,
Hmm.
it's how young you are.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. If
good
some,
Yeah.
morning. No, it's grand rising. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot against us, but
The
we're
language
powerful
matters.
enough to be talking about it right now,
Yeah.
us. So,
If somebody asks me how old I am, I tell them 35
There
because
you,
that's what my mind is.
right. Yeah.
I am
there you go.
35.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all just a bunch of
That,
kids
that's what I
with,
say too. I'm actually
yeah,
53, but I always flip it and say 35.
Oh,
we're all
really?
retain
So
that
I'm
childlike.
35 too.
Yeah, there you go.
How else are you
Yeah,
going to retain that childlike wonderment? I think that's so important. Is
I
Oh,
that
do
yeah.
too.
childlike wonderment
Yeah.
is it's not so childlike. It's really not.
Yeah. I
I,
think that's actually why Jesus would say that we need to tap into the energy of a child, because I feel like Jesus was trying to teach people
yeah.
this wonderful ability that humans have to live longer and to heal people and ourselves, and to, multiply the bread if we need to so that no one's hungry. And he would say, tap into the energy of the child, because the child feels joy, right? And when you feel joy, there's nowhere to go but up from there.
That's right. They get
Man.
It's been
exciting the higher you get.
That's right. It's been a real pleasure to have you on our
Yeah,
show, and I
it's
hope
been
in our future we get to talk some more.
yeah, there's so much more to talk about.
Oh, of
Indeed.
course. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Augie's he's one of the nicest guys in the business. I appreciate you being with us. And man, I've watched a few of your shows, and the questions that you get, the words that come out of your mouth just sit so well with my gut. It's like I feel like I'm hearing the truth, and I respect you on such a high level. Thank you so much, Augie.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Don't say stuff like that. I could get big-headed.
No, but honestly, it's been a true pleasure for us, a true pleasure and honor to
I
speak with
enjoyed
you.
it too. This was so much fun, and I love doing these shows because there are people out there that need to hear it, and it makes their life better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like just coming together like this with people amplifies that vibration out into the world to help
Yeah.
Yeah,
others to be able to feel it and taste it and use it.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we were going to do a 1 hour show, and now I see we're coming up almost 2 hours, so we've just got on a roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did really well. We got
He was
lots of
right.
things covered too in that time frame,
Yeah,
which I'm really pleased with, because
And we
there
had
was
fun. And
we had
that's
we
yeah.
had
that's key.
fun. It was
That's
very
what
enjoyable.
you don't see a show with Augie without the word fun coming out of someone's mouth.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know how to laugh.
Put
I
that in
Yeah.
can.
your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. That's the key to all of it. You got to have fun. You got to enjoy what you're doing, and it's
Yeah,
certainly been a real treat to have you on our show.
yeah. This
Um,
was fun, and well, we can find another time and do something again.
that would be great.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Do you have any parting words for the audience that you would like to say?
Let me first say I have this spiritual science, higher consciousness, thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness. That is one book that I got about 500 reports on Amazon about it, and it's close. It is close to 5 stars. That's not quite 5 stars. But there's another one also that's called Universal Success Principles and How Billionaires Think. If you are in business, would like to be in business, or if you want to have a smoother running family, listen to the super successful people. And I have learned. I got 3 billionaires that I was on first name with. I can't find one of them anymore because he's in China. But I learned a lot from them, and a lot of that is in the book. So if you're in business, you could use that one. And then again, go to broadcastteamalpha.com, get into the picture gallery and have a heyday. And also Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and 44 other platforms. Wherever you go, we're probably there.
Right. Yep, you're easy to find, and I'm going to be sure to put all of your links in the description box below too, so that people can find you without having to do the research.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Thank you, Augie, for being with us, and have a blessed night.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Augie.
All right. In the words of Spock, live long and prosper.
There you go. I love it.